Alright, so today's video is unfortunately not going to be a little bit different. Today we're going to be taking a look here at Brian Kilmeade on Fox News saying that the very recent, very scary increase of ICE arrests under the Trump administration, many of which are immigrants that have zero criminal record, zero criminal background, and I also don't think I need to explain in this video why an immigrant being in this country, having a criminal record, automatically means they need to be detained or deported. You know, that's fucking stupid. We don't need to do that. But we're going to take a look here at a clip of Brian Kilmeade saying that all of these recent arrests, these very scary arrests, are actually laying the groundwork for immigration reform. No, I am not making that up. Without further ado, here is the clip provided by Media Matters, MediaMatters.org. Donate if you can. They do some incredible work.
I mean, honestly, this is such a simple solution for these cities to do. If you truly believe with the president, like most Americans, the people that voted in the last election believe, that the criminals are a problem, you should just turn them over. And the numbers don't lie. Look at the criminal arrests under Donald Trump's administration. In Michigan, up 145%, Maryland, 190%, Virginia, 470%, San Diego, 400%. These people.
All right, and I know that a lot of my audience doesn't like when I pause like this, but we are going to go over these numbers really quick here just to prove that this is a completely bullshit claim, because according to this graphic, criminal illegal migrant arrests under Trump admin are up compared to the Biden administration by this much in these specific areas. We're going to go over each area. Also, I just want to point out that I don't know who the other two people on the panel are, the blonde lady and the other guy that are sitting on the panel, but I don't know how this guy couldn't tell that this graphic says 190 versus 190 when this screen would probably take up my entire apartment that I'm currently in right now. I don't know how he could get that number. Without further ado, though, the first place I mentioned was Michigan. So the first thing I want to point out here is this press release from the White House. President Trump delivers again. ICE arrests surge nationwide. This was published on July 22nd, 2025, and the second little bullet point on this press release is in Michigan, ICE arrests have jumped 150 President Trump's office. But according to this Axios article, um, a lot of these ICE arrests are for non-criminal immigrants. Excuse me. ICE arrests in Michigan by reported criminal status. They show a little graphic here. And they go on to say, by the numbers, in January, ICE arrested 85 people in Michigan, of whom 19% had no criminal charge, and Axios analysis found. In June, 48% of the 304 people ICE arrested in the state had no criminal charge. Literally half. Half of the immigrants that ICE has arrested have no criminal charge. And again, I don't think I need to go over why, just because an immigrant here has some type of criminal background or something criminal on their record, means they deserve to be detained and be deported. Okay, so who do they reference next? The next place they reference, is Maryland. I'm getting ahead of myself here. So I found an article here from MarylandMatters.org, a outlet that I'm not really that familiar with. But they go on to say, a state line analysis of immigration arrest data shows that the Trump administration's arrests have been catching a smaller share of criminals overall and a smaller share of people convicted of violent and drug crimes than the Biden administration. The share of people convicted of violent crimes fell from 10% to 7% and drug crimes from 9% to 5%, according to state line analysis of data from the Deportation Data Project. The project, led by attorneys in Professors of California, Maryland, and New York, collects and posts public, anonymized U.S. government immigration enforcement data sets obtained through Freedom of Information Act requests. Again, here in Maryland, they are literally arresting immigrants that have no criminal background. But the Trump administration, all the Republican talking heads are saying, we're getting the bad guys off the street. We're getting the real baddies off the street. And that brings us to Virginia. I happen to live in Virginia, and there's been a lot of really scary shit, really horrible, heinous shit going on, not not statewide, but right where I live, right in the heart of where I live. I actually made a video the other day on July 27th titled, ICE showed up where I live to kidnap immigrants, and it's disgusting. I had to unlist this video for a multitude of reasons. I'm not going to get into that in this video. But in this video, I go over an interview that a local news station did with some immigration attorneys where they said that people that were immigrants showed up to the county I actually live in, Chesterfield, the Chesterfield County Courthouse, to or for court dates that they had, scheduled court dates for stuff like speeding, stuff like maybe not wearing a seatbelt, and they were detained by ICE agents, people in masks, people you don't really know who they are, and shoved into the back of a car. And I kind of show that in the thumbnail here. I can show a little bit of this here. This is a clip here of an immigrant who showed up to a scheduled court date, getting shoved into the back of an unmarked car, literally being kidnapped by ICE.
The video you see on screen shows ICE arresting a man at the Chesterfield County Courthouse.
We're going to skip over my coverage here because that might have been what got me in trouble with YouTube. We're going to keep going here, though, because the main thing I want to go over right here, and we're going to go over a couple more things here for Virginia, is what many of these, the literally vast majority of these immigrants that showed up to this courthouse were arrested for.
Really tough bad guys off the street. Violent criminals who are here illegally.
Violent criminals, and they're about to court with, which is small traffic stuff, right? We're getting the really bad guys off the street, guys. Inspection. This is not. It's happening. I do apologize. Apartment complexes. In this, but
traffic
continue here.
Records show that 11 people taken from Chesterfield's courthouse were there for simple traffic-related offenses, some as minor as no seatbelt.
Some as minor as no seatbelt. Those are the real criminals, guys. Those are the real criminals that Virginia, my state, my Republican administration is getting off the street. The people that aren't wearing seatbelts. People that got a speeding ticket, one speeding ticket, right? The people that don't have their vehicle registration up to date. Those are the real criminals you gotta watch out for, guys. Beware. Beware of those that do not have their car inspection up to date, because they are definitely up to something nefarious. Absolutely disgusting. And Glenn Youngkin, one of my most favorite people in the entire world, just absolutely adore the motherfucker, said that they should be arrested. He defended, and this is, I said before, I know I'm jumping all over the place. This is not just happening where I live. This was happening in Northern Virginia a couple of months ago. There were some incidents very similar to this. There were supposed ICE agents going around to apartment buildings at 5 a.m. on Saturday and Sunday mornings, banging on people's doors, literally just banging on them till they got up, opened the door, asking if so-and-so was there. Hey, is this person there? No warrant, no nothing. Literally modern-day Gestapo. So illegal, so disgusting. I cannot put into words. Or I'll have to unlist this video like I had to unlist this video. I cannot put into words how disgusting this is. Not just talking about the Trump administration, but the local administrations that are allowing this shit too, which is why I actually praised Zorhan Mamdani in one of my recent uploads. Not too recent, but one of my recent uploads about him. Absolutely incredible, some of the rhetoric he's got. But Glenn Youngkin, the Republican governor of the state, said they should be arrested. Youngkin holds firm on support for ICE raids at Virginia courthouse. Virginia governor says 2,500 violent criminals removed under Homeland Security Task Force. Critics cite due process concerns. And I mean, this is the Virginia Mercury. They're so-so. They're whatever. That doesn't matter. Critics cite due process concerns is an understatement. And he said, let's just be clear. The vast majority of the people that have been arrested at courthouses around the country are committing violent crimes. You know the violent crime like not getting your car inspected? So violent. So violent. I couldn't imagine a more heinous crime. I could not imagine something... I couldn't imagine something worse than, not having your car inspected, or not wearing your seatbelt, or going 10 miles over the speed limit. Maybe being friends with a pedophile, that actually might be worse. But not according to my governor. Not according to my state's administration. No. And there are some representatives, individuals in Virginia that actually do have good rhetoric on immigration, but that's not what this video is about. And Jason Miyares, another individual that I don't know if I've ever talked about him in the channel before. If I have, it's been once or twice. There's Jason Miyares, who is Attorney General, who is almost worse than Glenn Youngkin in a lot of ways. And if you don't live in Virginia, you don't know who Miara is, I definitely don't encourage you to look it up unless you want your day ruined and you just want to be angry for the rest of the day. At least that's how I am personally when I read about Jason Miyares. Miyares offers no proof that 2,500 immigrants arrested by Virginia task force were violent offenders. And again, we have proof that they're not. We know for a fact they are not. We know for a fact they're not here in Virginia. We know that's not happening in Maryland. We know that's not happening in Michigan. And we still have to get to San Diego. And again, if it's happening in these 4 places, spanning all across the country, the West Coast, the East Coast, kind of the Midwest, what do you think's happening in every single state? The same goddamn thing. A campaign event Attorney General defers when pressed on Youngkin's claims, says ICE and partner agencies are targeting those already ordered to leave the country, which is a fucking load of horse shit. And the last thing we're going to get to is San Diego here. I don't have a lot pulled up for San Diego here because I couldn't find a lot of what I thought would be useful or good information here. Excuse me, let me move my mic, or not my mic, my camera so you guys can see. What the data shows about ICE is, about who ICE is arresting in San Diego, excuse me. The first 6 months of the Trump admin push for mass deportations, more than half of the U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement civil immigration arrests in San Diego and Imperial Services were of individuals with no pending criminal charges or previous criminal convictions. They are lying straight to your face. They're lying to all of our faces because they know. They know that the Republican talking heads, people like Charlie Kirk, people like Glenn Beck, people like Ben Shapiro, people like Matt Walsh, people like Tim Pool are going to sit there and peddle whatever the fuck comes out of Donald Trump's mouth. Whatever shit comes out of his asshole, they're gonna put their fucking mouth up there and they're gonna suck it out. They're gonna suck it out like it's a milkshake on a hot day. They're gonna do that every single time when it comes to this issue. But the reality is they are not just taking off the gangbangers of the streets, taking off the worst criminals of all time. No, that's not the reality at all. And again, it's probably happening if you live in the U.S. and you're watching this video. This is probably happening where you're at actively right now. But we've done a lot of talking here. We haven't even gotten to the actual meat, the main reason I wanted to make this video, which I do think going over those numbers is important because it's so easily debunkable, these claims. I don't know, again, a judge ruled that Fox News is not actually a news station, but it is actually entertainment, which, when they're throwing shit like this up there and saying with a straight face to a TV camera when it's being broadcast live that this is the reality, I mean, I feel like that ruling is 100% valid. Let's continue.
Jeff didn't get here in the last 6 months.
And look at the first word, Lawrence. Criminal. These
Look at the first word, you guys. I didn't even want to pause. I actually hadn't watched the clip. I just saw the title Media Matters posted on the clip. Look at the first word, criminal. You motherfuckers made this. What do you mean, look at the first word? You act like this is like statistical data that is from actual, reports, actual things that you can go and track and say, oh yeah, this is what happened. You made this. It just says ICE at the bottom. That doesn't mean anything. Look at the first word. What are we, kindergartners? What are you reading us a book at story time? Crisscross applesauce on the rug? Bro, what are we doing? I don't even know why I'm getting so upset. It's Fox fucking News, man.
are criminals that he's getting off the streets. That's incredible when he uses that analogy. Y'all have been to a Southern football game, right? You've been to a Michigan football game, which is the largest, I think, college stadium in the country.
Not in the South.
Alabama and LSU, that game. Remember when Donald Trump came out and everyone was cheering? Imagine that stadium times 2. That's how many were coming in under Joe Biden every single day. And they're still here. Donald Trump's trying to get them out.
It's incredible.
Right.
Again, no statistical data provided for that. They're not going to throw up anything because they know they're lying about it. They know they're lying about it.
So far, the border sealed, which could allow maybe moving forward on immigration reform. I'm not sure if the president's going to do it after midterms or right before midterms, but it wasn't possible unless you seal the border. Reagan's big mistake. He did immigration reform but didn't seal the border. He trusted Democrats to do it. They didn't.
What in the world? Yeah, immigration reform. Oh man, I guess yeah. I don't even know what I thought this was gonna be. Yeah, yeah. Reagan did immigration reform. That's one way to put it. Okay, I like that. That's funny. That was a funny joke. If it was satirical stand-up comedy, if these guys weren't actually peddling this and brainwashing people into thinking this and just being completely racist, horrible human beings, this would be funny. It would, but it's not because of that reason. I can't. I don't even know anymore. This has just went so off the rails for me.
So it made amnesty a four-letter word. And that's what the president will not give to illegals that came here illegally. But there might be a pathway to meat packers, farmers, hospitality workers, if those people...
Dude, what is wrong with these people? What are you saying, Brian? That might lead to meat packers, hospitality workers? Bro, why? Why are you like this? Why do you have to... What the... Why? Getting paid to be racist is such a lucrative fucking job. It's such a lucrative business in this country. It's actually insane. I don't need to say that out loud for people to realize that. People with brains, at least. That is just... It's crazy that when you really think about it, I guess it's not that crazy that these people get paid to sit here and just say super racist shit all day, and they get paid a lot of fucking money, a lot of goddamn money to do this shit. This is I don't even know. We went over the brunt of the numbers and the statistics and stuff.
People want to get sponsored by a workplace. That's where it could be heading, but not to people that came over the last 4 years under Joe Biden.
I don't it's Fox News. What did you expect? What did I expect? I don't know what I expected. Not I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I didn't think it was gonna be that fucking horrible, dude. That was just I want to throw up. I might actually throw up after I press the stop recording button here.